So we, my friends, the New York Giants have made history in week 16 of the 2024 season. Okay, it's nothing to be excited about. It's the worst season ever. It's the worst season ever. Like seriously, like that's not like just being like a pissy fan. It's the in the history, the hundred in the 100th season, the Giants have made history as having the worst season ever, where they've started with winning, they won two, and then went 10 straight games. 10 with no win. That's where we are, folks. The 100th season celebration. Welcome, everybody, to Family Bonding, G-Men Mother and Son post game show, the first Mother and Son post game show ever. Okay. And we love the fact that you joined us for every game, post game show, and we appreciate that. We want you to continue to do that. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe, hop in that chat. We're live on, obviously, if you're most likely watching this on YouTube, because that's where we're broadcasting it. Uh, so please share it, comment, and like the video. We always love for you to come back and watch, especially if you couldn't stay with us the whole time. Come back and watch it, the replay of it on YouTube, and definitely comment there and like. So let's get into it. Son, what are your thoughts about the New York Giants in Week 16 of the 2024 season completing their worst franchise record of losing in history?
Well, they obviously look like trash. Let's start with when the last winning season was before we talk about losing because we've been talking about losing all season.
Right.
The last time we had a winning record was in 2016, the same season with the Miami Cruise. We went 11-5. A season where we only had one loss on our record. You have to go all the way back to 1926.
Oh my God.
And I want you guys to know that's the first year that the New York Giants started their team.
Oh, you know what? How fitting for the 100th season then. How
To be
fitting.
horrible. And the first
Yes.
was a 13-1 season, and they won the championship.
Yeah. Look at
Uh,
that.
so we chose to celebrate the 100th season in polar opposite fashion, being the worst team in the league. Bottom, we are dead last in end zone, red zone completion. We are dead last in percentage for red zone completion and scoring this season.
Oh
We
my
haven't been
God.
dead last in a while, but we've been bottom three, bottom five in the last decade in red zone offense. The fact that we are bottom of the barrel this season is no mystery as to why that is. You guys already know his number is 26, and he plays for the friggin' Pigeons. So I don't even have to get into that. I'm done talking about him. I'm not even going to say his name. I'm done.
Yeah, there's no
We're
need.
not got to go there.
Yeah, there's no need.
I will go there with this, though. It's been almost 6 seasons worth of watching New York Giants quarterbacks have games where they have 200 passing yards, 2 touchdowns or more, and no interceptions. And it's only happened one game. It's never happened more than once in a row. But
Oh,
it's never been more than one game in a row. It's always been we've had one game where our quarterback, no matter who it is, has 200 passing yards, touchdowns or more, and no interceptions. I already told you Daniel Jones takes up most of that because he's only done it like 3 times in his career in 6 seasons. You have Tyrod Taylor who started for him one game, did it once, and since then nobody's done it. Drew Lock finished with 200 passing yards, 2 interceptions, and 1 touchdown. I just want people to understand the Giants haven't watched a quarterback do what I just said: 200 passing yards, two or more touchdowns, and no interceptions for more than one game stretch in over 6 seasons.
oh my God.
We've trailed for 420 minutes. They showed that stat during the game. We've trailed by teams over 421 minutes, which equates
That's
to 28 quarters of football. That's
oh
28
my
quarters.
God.
That's
That's
7 games in time. That's 7 games worth of time. Giants fans, stop supporting this team. Just stop. Stop buying season ticket holders. Stop doing all season ticket holders. Stop buying season tickets. Stop. There's nothing that you could do to turn this team around with any support. It has come down to the incompetency of the organization, and they need to look deep within themselves and figure out, do they even care about this franchise? Do they care about winning? Do they care about the fans? I'm going to say it again. That number is 26, that phony number 26 on the Giants right now was benched. Again, he did not start. I believe he has not started at running back for more than 4 games this season. And they were all in the beginning of the season. And then he got hurt, and he never was the starting running back anymore. And I think the Joe Shane and Dayball campaign, they realized, Devin Singletary's not it.
no.
Maybe they realized that. You look at his stats, they're atrocious. He has barely 400 rushing yards in 16 games. And this is the guy that you brought in to replace Saquon.
Wow.
Barely 400 yards. I want you to know that's not even 10% of what Saquon has this season.
Oh my God. Hell, it's light years away.
It's about
There's
it's
no
about 8
comparison.
to 7%. It's about
Wow.
7% of what he has. And this is what we traded for, Giants fans. This is what we paid. Drew Lock started his first game this season. I'm sorry, second game this season. We paid him $5 million. We decided to put in whatever his name is, Danny DeVito. I'm going back to Danny DeVito. It's that bad. We keep him in there. We put him in there. We basically force him in there instead of putting in the person we paid $5 million for. The same $5 million that we could have used on Saquon. But you know what? I said his name. Look at it. But couldn't go to the video without saying his name. It happened. But that's besides the point. When you look at this team and you look who's running it, the common denominator is the person who's running it is the problem. And until either John Mara sells the team, fires Joe Shane or Brian Daboll, we can continue to see the same results. 10 game losing streak. That is Detroit Lions-esque. Not Detroit Lions now, obviously.
Yes,
I'm
of
talking about the 0
yesteryear.
16 Lions. The 0 16 Lions.
Yeah, yeah,
We're
yeah,
getting danger close to that. We're
yeah.
danger close. Nobody wants to be the 0 16 Lions,
No,
but 2 wins isn't that far from being 0 16. It's not.
yeah,
It's pretty
no.
dang close.
It's not.
And when you're a New York Giants fan and the franchise itself, has that name, winning 2 games this season is deplorable and not up to our standard. New York fans, the New York fan base wants to see the team, even if it's at the bare minimum, a wild card spot. They want to be at least somewhat of a threat. We don't expect them to be the best team in the league. We don't expect them to be dominant all the time. We just want to see hard-nosed football, tough Giants players that wrap up, actually drive the running back or ball carrier, whoever it is, into the ground instead of these arm tackles where they're missing people constantly.
Right.
The
Oh,
defense looks dead
lots of
all
missed
the time.
tackles. Yeah.
I feel bad for the defense because they're getting crazy cardio exercises out there week in and week out, being on the field 70% of the time. Somehow the Giants find ways to have time of possession where we have more than our opponent, and we're still trailing by 14 points. How? How are you doing that? You have the ball longer than the opponent, but they're winning by 14 points or more. That didn't happen today. It's just throughout this season, I've seen that stat where we've had time of possession, whether it was by 5 to 8 minutes, we've had the ball longer than the other team, and we're losing by 10 to 14 points or more at that time when we have more possession. That to me screams we have no offense. I get that Malik Neighbors is having a career season for a rookie as receiver. It doesn't
which
matter.
is which is fascinating. It's fascinating that that is even possible with the now worst franchise losses, straight losses ever, kind of moniker on the team, that he could have such a great season as an individual. It's fascinating. It's fascinating.
It shows the caliber of player he is, but it also shows that there's nothing around him.
Yeah, and that he's not going to, and it also explains why he's going to leave as soon as he can.
Yep. No, there's no chance that he wants to come back. There's no
Yeah,
chance. Even if you paid him all the money in the world, I don't think that would keep him there. He would rather get paid less to go somewhere where he has a chance to win.
yeah.
And it's sad because going into this offseason, I didn't expect any of this. I didn't expect Saquon to be gone. I didn't expect Saquon to be replaced by somebody wearing his same jersey number. I didn't even expect Daniel Jones to get actually fired and released. I
No, no,
expected
no.
I expected us to
That was
commit.
really, yeah,
I thought we were going to
yeah.
commit.
And really that because that's how they roll, right? Is they
Yeah.
make a decision, we're firm, this is who our guy is, blah, blah, blah. And they probably should have just stayed with that because it made the BS look worse than what it needed to look. Having a losing season on top of complete disarray behind the scenes and lack of leadership and poor decision making and embarrassing a professional quarterback by putting him, on as a fourth string safety. All of that creates a long list to attach to that now worst record ever, worst season ever type situation that they're now going to have to look back. So the next, you know, they'll probably skip the, 110 years and or the 105-year anniversaries. They'll probably go now to the 2020, 120 20th season. They'll celebrate that. They might skip over because this is too close for comfort, right? To be able to have to go back and look at the clown show that was happening. And speaking of clown shows, Michael Holmes has joined us again this week. Thank
How
you,
you doing,
Michael
Mike?
Holmes. 2 weeks left of the circus. Michael Holmes said, "Coach of the Year," referring to Dayball, how he won Coach of the Year in his rookie season, really, as a head coach with the New York Giants. Then he says, "You're kidding me? Only the New York train wreck Giants." And then he also adds that Evan Neal is a joke, which is obviously the son
Yes.
completely agrees with
Evan Neal's a
that.
super bust. Absolute bust. How are you that large and you can't block and just be a body and just stop the pressure? You were drafted at the top 10 picks. Like, I don't understand. Why do the Giants keep missing on all of these draft picks?
My favorite today is that the Giants in their unprecedented game against the Falcons, where they're about to get that 10th straight loss to make a franchise record, they're playing the guy that was available when the Giants picked sixth in the 2024 season. They could have picked Penix.
Yep.
In fact, that was kind of the prediction that they would, because everybody else saw that they didn't have a real quarterback in Daniel Jones before the 2024 draft. So that's what everybody was saying. Penix. I had friends, colleagues saying you guys really should pick up Penix. And he was available because Penix didn't get picked up till the eighth round, which was the Falcons, right? And then look what he did today. Look how he killed the Giants.
And they have a wild card spot now, more than likely.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah,
and that's a rookie
yeah.
on the team that's not known for winning.
His
Eh,
first in season start because the last time he played was a preseason game, and the quote I heard today was that they didn't let him play the whole preseason because the coach's quote, the coaching staff quote said they had seen enough. Now we know what they saw. They saw they had a franchise quarterback. You know, that's what they saw.
And, he may not even be a franchise quarterback. We'll never know. But
He looks like one now.
for now, we'll see. Look, we thought that Daniel Jones was a franchise quarterback when he scammed us in the first week of the playoffs and won against the Vikings. So
True.
it don't mean nothing until we see what he does next year. For right now, it's a slap in the face of the Giants because they made another executive decision to not give a chance to somebody, but we're so willing to give a chance to Daniel Jones. 6 years worth of chances. It's not just a 2 season and out of there. We literally endured this for 6 seasons.
Uh,
The definition of insanity literally is doing something and expecting the same or a different result doing the same thing. And
yes.
it's just
Now that saying has a picture of the New York Giants front office and coaching staff with
Yeah,
with Daniel Jones smiling, holding money in the background.
I'm sure. While he's chilling on the Vikings in the backup spot, just chilling, waiting for his again to be in the playoffs. This will be his second season in a row, technically now being in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Think about that. You can't make any of this up. The statistics get worse the more you think about it, the more you look into it. It just comes down to terrible management. It comes down to lack of actual integrity and intelligence when it comes to making these decisions and not being held accountable. Because Dayball has not come out and said anything about owning up to the mistake. Nothing. In fact, all I'm saying is that fool is losing weight more and more every week. That's what it
every
looks.
week
That's what it
he's
looks like.
looking so slim and trim. Dave, this is if okay, forget Ozempic. You've got coaching the New York Giants. That is the way to lose 100 pounds in a few months. Coach for the New York
They got you running
Giants.
in circles around in that dang offense trying to figure stuff out. Yeah, it makes sense. And
I
speaking of
mean,
figuring stuff out,
he, yeah, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say why the break. Oh, wow, I can't speak. Dayball, he calls the weirdest plays. There was one play I saw this in the first half where we were trying to score, um, and he called three pass plays in a row, and then on the third pass play, he finally got it, and it was mainly because Tyrone Tracy just made a crazy play and had his feet in bounds. But if we're in the red zone and we have 5 yards to score, why are you doing three pass plays? You can't run. Oh, I forgot. We don't have Saquon,
We don't have,
so we can't
we
run.
don't, right. There's no guarantee that it's going to work. So, and there's no trust in the guys on the field that they have,
No.
that they've selected to be on the field. How
And
about
then they
that?
do screenplays all the time now. Where was that in the beginning of the season? They
Yeah,
did a lot of screenplays in the first quarter. I was like, we did a lot of screenplays. What happened to those plays where we knew we didn't have time to develop a long play, but we were doing these crazy plays where we're trying to get Daniel Jones to look downfield? It's like if you have no time to make a play, stick with the small plays and just eat up the clock and try to drive down the field 5 yards of play. At the very least, if you get 5 yards of play on a team like that, that is a win in my book. But
right.
we went for these home run plays. Daniel Jones threw picks. He fumbled it. All this, that, and the third. You could name it. Anything that happened that was negative under the sun, it happened. And we were trying to make Daniel Jones this person that he clearly was not. And we didn't give him enough to be that person that he clearly was not. So if you ask me, this was the most deserved experience for the New York Giants as a franchise, not the fans, the franchise and everybody in that front office that made these decisions. This season was 1000% deserved. It was deserved. I can't
Hmm.
even be upset with the results. If you told me all these decisions that happened in the offseason happened before the season started, I would have expected this outcome that we would be horrible because one, the team gave up. They mentally checked out. Saquon was gone. Daniel Jones got paid. Then they're still losing.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones gets benched. Now they put in so there I go again, Danny DeVito, Tommy DeVito, and Drew Lock. And they paid Drew Lock 5 mil to still have him ride the bench for a couple more games just for friggin' DeVito to get injured. And then now Lock gets to play. But what was the point of paying him the 5 mil if you want him to be the backup? This is what I'm talking about. The Giants make half-assed decisions and they don't suffer the consequences for it somehow. They just get away with it and are allowed to do that. You got franchises like the Eagles. If they did this kind of stuff, you would have the whole city up in arms and outraged and asking for that person to be fired and almost effectively pressuring the owner into making decisions, which that owner has done and many other teams have done based on what the fan base feels about some people. They make decisions. But for the Giants, they don't do that. They use what my mom likes to call the diamond in the rough mentality. They try to find these people who aren't names, they're not household names, they're just Joe Schmoes sometimes. And because they're cheaper, they see there's more value there. See,
Right.
I think when they say the word value, they're looking for cheaper. They're not looking for
Yes.
skill set and price. They're just like, oh,
There's
this
not.
person's cheap.
There's an expectation that the diamond in the rough player is going to accept whatever offer that the Giants will give because they don't have that many options. And I've said it already in a previous show that in watching the Ohio Buckeyes and their quarterback Will Howard,
Hmm.
That's the type of kid the Giants front office would be looking at.
Yeah.
Everybody says Cam Ward. We'd love Cam Ward. Fans would love him. We'd love him.
Yeah, he'd be great.
That's not the guy that this current Giants front office, the decision makers who picked up Daniel Jones, um, these are not the guys who and gave Daniel Jones a $160 million contract. Those are not the guys who are going to look at Cam Ward and say, okay, we have to open up our bank accounts and really make sure that we cash at this guy the most amount of money that we possibly can so he'll come to us. That's not that's not what they're thinking. That's not how they think. They look at just like the sun said. They want to find the guy who is cheap but good.
Which doesn't
Um,
exist. That doesn't exist.
right, right. So that's kind of what and Will Howard is he looks good. He had a great game. If anybody saw the game on the December was the 21st, is that they had a great game. The Buckeyes looked amazing. He was good. He had a great performance, and he would be a good quarterback for some team. Would he work on the Giants? I don't know. I don't know if they have the infrastructure to make him into a leader and a star for a Giants big market team. But everybody says Shador Sanders. That's never going to happen. I've said this before because Prime would never want him to be on a team, right? This team, this really screwed up team from top to bottom. He wouldn't want that. So here's what I propose. I've mentioned Antonio Pierce on the Raiders again as the coach, and he is an embattled coach right now. All right, that front office at the Raiders is looking at him sideways. So I think and everybody has heard probably that Shadur Sanders and Prime, they were all floating around Thanksgiving. They were floating around Vegas, taking pictures out in front the stadium and doing stuff. So, and that's probably a good place for a showy type quarterback like a Shadur Sanders with that type of pedigree behind him, right? And now Coach Prime is talking about, he's asking people like Ice Cube, of all people, what he should do. Should he stay in college even when his son is off drafted, or should he go and follow his son? So I'm thinking that the Maras and the Davis family, the Davises in Vegas, they can have a little convo. Maris, there's like, Davis might say, we want to get rid of Pierce. You want to get rid of Dayball. Why don't we, you could take, you got to hit, and Maris might say, we have a history. We have a history with Pierce. He was one of our great players. We'd love to have him coach with us. And then we won't pick Shador, because we probably will have, we'll probably be able to pick first. And then they say, we won't pick Shador. We'll leave that to you, but make sure, we'll pick up Pierce for you. You know, make it nice and clean. And then you can have the whole Sanders thing, Prime, Coach Prime, and Shador. I think that's a nice little package, nice little gift. They can both teams, front offices and owners can wrap up in a bow. That's what I think
Yeah,
is going to
but
happen there.
the one flaw in your theory is everybody got to see what Dayball did this season. You
I
can't even.
didn't I didn't say that the Raiders would take Dable.
Well, yeah,
I'm
but okay, I get it, and I see what you're saying.
I'm
It's just
saying that
wishful
yeah,
thinking.
right. It's wishful thinking. It's a scenario. It could happen. I do think that conversation about, hey, don't worry about it, guys. Mara family, the Giants, we won't take Shador. Don't worry about it. You got it. Because the Raiders most likely will be number two, right? But yeah, Cam Ward, I'd love it. He would be history making because I believe we haven't had a. Am I missing someone? Did we have a black quarterback on the New York Giants? I don't think we have.
Smith,
Michael Hall.
but it doesn't count.
No, starting quarterback, captain,
No,
drafted.
no,
Yeah, I don't think we've done that.
I
Yeah,
don't think we ever will. That's just me.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, even if
So
we did, the offensive line is still a problem. I don't know how that changes based on a new quarterback, but the offensive line is still an issue. They replace these linemen with other backups from other teams and people that aren't necessarily. wanted, or I don't want to say wanted, but they don't have the value that the Giants keep saying they're looking for. Um, and it just makes it difficult for the team to progress when all you're trying to do is find the cheapest people and at the most valuable position in linemen, for that matter. You're just trying to
Right.
find these backups. The only real decent lineman they got was that brother from the Packers. Um, and you clearly saw an improvement in the offensive line this season. It still was bad, and it got worse when Evan Neal got on the field again. Shocker. So it's just if we're gonna do this and rebuild, we have to stop picking these people that are the obvious pick and people who we think will fit rather than not knowing for sure if they'll fit. You could be the number one lineman in the country. If you don't want to play in New York and if you don't like the offensive style, it may not work. We need somebody that wants to play the type of football New York plays, which usually is tough nose, hard nose football, where they run it and they do play action plays and they wait for that to open up so that they can do the pass plays. But they mostly try to run the ball first. And if you have linemen that don't specialize in those and zone blocking and all those kind of schemes and everything, it's going to be difficult. And if they're, especially if they're large like Evan Neal, at least verify that they can move their dang bodies because that dude sometimes feels like his cleats are glued into the turf and it's just that he doesn't move anywhere. So you could have the
Hey,
largest body in the world. If you can't move, what good are you as a lineman? So I can't even say getting the quarterback fixes this problem because we've again, I've said this before, we've set ourselves back 5 to 10 years re-signing Daniel Jones. And within those 5 years, not only would we have to look for a quarterback, we'd have to look for offensive line, we have to look for other weapons, because the only thing that we have going against us is time when it comes to Malik Neighbors' skill. The older you get, I don't want to say the less skilled you get, but certainly your physical attributes change. You won't
right.
be as quick, you won't be as strong, you won't be as
No,
fast, unless
no.
he keeps his body right. But 5 to 6 seasons down the line, if you wear and tear him down, his performance is going to drop. So I don't know what the clear, concrete solution is with fixing this team, but it starts with getting rid of this quarterback problem that we have and changing the offensive line. I would say focus more on the offensive line. At quarterback, it doesn't matter. We saw this season, it doesn't matter who's behind center. They all look like circus shows. It looks bad. You got Drew Lock had a decent game today, and we still lost like 30
Yeah,
something to 7.
yeah, yeah,
Like it's bad. It's bad.
yeah. Michael Holmes mentioned, Mara needing to sell the team. I wish that could happen, but we've got a legacy ownership for like 100 years,
As
right?
long
With
as
the
the team's
Tisch
been around.
family. Yes. So I don't see that happening anytime soon. We
No.
need better advisors under the Mara family, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe John Mara needs to hang it up and let another successor come in from the Mara family to help make decisions. I do believe his son is involved now, and maybe he needs to step up. A lot of times the son can't do what he wants to do, or the child, I should say, because it easily could be a woman. So I'm not going to do the gender thing. The child can't do what they want to do in the business when the founding father or the legacy father or mother is in place, and they need to walk away so that the succeeding child can feel comfortable that they're not going to step on their parents' toes. It's a very odd dynamic that doesn't really work out until one parent kind of walks off and says, "I'm done," and this is now your baby, and that probably needs to happen. John needs to step down so that his younger children can step in and maybe help to reshape this team, because something else needs to happen. Michael Holmes alerted us to the fact that the Commanders did take the Eagles today, and they came back and won that game.
What?
So they did. They did.
What?
Yeah, by 3 points. Yeah, that happened. That happened.
Eagles. Eagles.
Yeah. So
That's
that was it.
hilarious. They lost. That's great.
So that's interesting. Um,
This is foreshadowing, guys. They're gonna be worried about next.
yeah, the son has been saying that to me in our private conversations, and I do believe it's true that will happen, that they will choke and they will not. Currently, they're saying Jalen Rose. That's where's my brain? I'm thinking about old basketball players. Jesus Christ.
It's
Jalen
fine.
Hurts. He's concussed allegedly, so he might be out next weekend, maybe not. It depends on how bad it is. Um, but that also could impact their capabilities during any type of playoff run that they have. So we'll see what happens. But then there's that. Um, I do want to just add about Penix because I didn't really get to talk about him. He looked good. Um,
I mean, everybody looks good. We've been watching Daniel Jones play all season.
it's true.
It's not
It's
really
true.
saying
But
much. We've been watching Daniel Jones, Danny DeVito, and
he was ready, though. I
Drew
give him
Lock.
credit, though, because you know what? He was thrown into the fire, right? At the end of a somewhat shitty season for that team. And it was okay. But, anytime you have to bench your quarterback, it can't be that great of a season. Just saying.
No,
He didn't have a lot of jitters out there. The first, I think he was a
I
little
would hope
sketchy
not. He's
that
been in the
first.
league since 2019. You paid
Penix?
him $5
No.
million to do that. That's what he got
No,
paid
no,
$5 million for.
I was talking about Penix. I'm sorry. You're talking about
Oh,
Luck. I'm talking about Penix. Yeah.
oh,
I said he looked, I was talking about, I was giving him some props because I like to support my black quarterbacks, even if they're on other teams. So, yeah, I wish him luck and I hope that they treat him well in Atlanta. That's all I got to say about that. Speaking of Atlanta, the only good thing about this game was the music going into break. They played some Luda. They played some good music
of course they
going
did.
into. I was like, oh, they're represented. They played some Luda. They played a couple of other Atlanta artists. I thought that was the most interesting about this game for me. I noticed the music going into breaks. I was like, oh yeah, great, that sounds good. That kept me going. But other than that, no, it just was, one disaster after the other. The picks, the Drew Lock picks, and I don't know. It's just not much to go on and have a show around. And you know, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Um, Atlanta Falcons Fandemic. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome.
Atlanta Falcons Vandemic says Locke is a great QB. He will grow, but you guys need more playmakers for him. Yes, and
No,
also says OL is major for you guys. Needs to be revamped for sure. Yes, thanks for noticing. That's been our sad story for the last 5 seasons.
don't do that,
Uh,
Fandemics. Don't give us false hope. Drew Lock is terrible. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Drew Lock is as bad as Daniel Jones. Don't do that. They're bad. They average the same stats. Drew Lock in that game literally is the exact same as Daniel Jones his entire career. He had 200 yards, he had less than 2 touchdowns, and he had one or more interceptions. That is Daniel Jones for his career. Drew Lock had a Daniel Jones game today. Don't do that. He,
Yeah.
I won't let that slide. No, no, he had a Daniel Jones kind of game, and until the team changes, quarterbacks will continue to have Daniel Jones like performances. It's not even realistic to say that Drew Lock has something going for him. He has nothing going for him. The guy is a journeyman quarterback who never was supposed to be on this team in the first place.
Yeah.
He was here
No
because
doubt.
we had an extra $5 million to spend that we could have used on Saquon,
There you
but we
go.
decided to get 8 or 9 other people to join this team off the money we could have paid Saquon, and this is what we have: a 2-win record, 2 wins,
Two-win
10 straight
record.
losses.
Yeah. With
It,
a mostly third string playing team. Because
yep,
yes, we're deep into the depth chart.
and that's by
We're
design because
there.
most players are just trying to not get hurt if they aren't actually hurt and they're saying they are. They're just that's
Right.
and
Yeah.
it's a part of the tank job. That's realistically what it is. It's part of the tank job. Just get all the backups in there, let them get their reps. Maybe they'll get a spot in this team next year. But at the end of the day, they mentally checked out. This is the tank job. Uh, the end of the season can't come sooner.
Fun fact. Giants signed a free agent safety this week. That could have been Daniel Jones getting re-signed. Oh my God. When I saw that, I was like, that was Daniel Jones. That could have easily have been him that was being re-signed back onto the team as a safety. Yeah, that
Who
happened.
knows?
That happened. Yeah, that's it. Nobody knows the names of the guys on the field. I couldn't tell you half of them. Even the players were saying over the last 2 weeks, they were saying they weren't sure of the names of their coworkers.
Man, some of the
That's
players on
bad.
the field were yawning at the end of the damn game today, making me tired. I saw some guy on the sideline yawning. And I'm like, now you're making me tired. Dang. It's a snooze fest. The games are such a snooze fest, and how fitting that we have to play against these bum teams that are better than us. I'm not saying we're not a bum team, but why we got to play against these teams where we have this false hope that we could get a win when we had the roughest start to a season with the rough games, that 6 game stretch or 5 game stretch of the tough teams. Like they always screw us over. They give us the tough type half in the first half of the season. They'll have all the tough games, and then we get towards the end when we're already morally defeated and we're already down and out. We got all these games that are winnable, and we just get smoked
Yeah,
because the team mentally checked out. So I'm happy that the Falcons are thriving. I'm happy that they got a chance to get into the playoffs. Um, because this is not the opportunity to trash talk the Falcons or their fan base or anything like that. I usually only save that for the Cowboys and Eagles. That's about it. I'm happy for the Falcons for the season they had. I'm happy that they don't have to deal with the shenanigans of being a Giants fan. Um,
yeah. How
and
about
I
that?
just I just hope that they continue to succeed and do their job. Uh, you guys did what you needed to. You got an easy win. The easy win. Anytime you're playing the Giants right now, it's an easy win. So any team that beats us, you did your job. You showed that we suck. I appreciate you for that. This is what we need. The Giants needed to have this season, especially with everything that happened. The Giants needed to have a season like this so that the front office could see how much they messed up. This is the perfect scenario for me as a Giants fan because I knew coming into the season after all the changes that happened and Hard Knocks and everything, they revealed how everything was done. I had a feeling misery was on its way, and it came very quickly, and it just stayed for the rest of the season. And you know what? I've become happy with it. I'm at peace. This was deserved, not for the fan base. This was deserved for the front office. Joe Shane and John Mara, excuse me, Joe Shane and Brian Dable. I guess John Mara could be thrown in there. I didn't want to say
Yep.
John Mara because he said himself, there is a tape, there's video footage of it. He said he would not sleep well at night if Saquon went to the Eagles. That was a clear statement that he doesn't want Saquon to leave, period. But whatever you do, don't let that man go to the Eagles. And it just happened so smoothly. It was so smooth. So it is what it is. It almost seems super calculated that this happened the way it did with Saquon being on the Eagles. And I want you to know, I can't remember the last time I couldn't talk trash to an Eagles fan ever, like about anything, even if it was one game. I
Yeah,
I said nothing
it's
to it. I didn't even text
you
my
can't.
friends that are Eagles fans. I didn't even text
Yeah,
them all
you
season.
can't do it.
I didn't talk to them. Nothing.
Yeah, no, you can't do it. Can't
It's like I literally have a paper bag over my face. That's what it feels like.
do it. Yeah, it's
So I'm done
yeah,
talking about the Giants. There's nothing else to be said. Uh, we got another game
yeah.
next week. I don't even know who we're playing. Doesn't even matter.
I don't think it matters either.
I don't even think it matters. And I want to say it's against I want to say it's an AFC team, but I'm probably wrong. Um
I'm looking.
I'm trying to find this. Here we go. I got it.
Colts. Is it
That
the
is a
Colts?
AFC, that's an AFC team. I was right. Yeah, so we're playing the Colts and then we finish shocker with the Eagles. So
Ah,
so
yeah,
which will probably just be the Saquon show. Um that's pretty
yeah,
much all it's gonna be. And you know what? I
yeah,
hope he runs for almost 200 rushing yards, if not more, honestly. We deserve it. We deserve it.
yeah,
I hope it
yeah.
happens. I want it to
He's
happen.
had a fantastic season, and I don't, he was definitely disenfranchised. I hate to even speak bad about him because he was disenfranchised.
Shame on the
In
Giants fans that burned his jersey. Y'all don't make any sense. What's wrong with y'all? Why?
Atlanta Falcons pandemic said, "All I want is for everyone in your division to beat the Cowboys." Let me tell you something.
We'll never
Yeah,
do
you're
that.
not alone. Yeah, yeah.
We
you know.
the Cowboys own us right now. They just own us.
Yeah,
And
and
a
there's
part of that
that.
was mainly the reign of Daniel Jones being the quarterback. We haven't won a single game against the Cowboys with him as quarterback.
Yeah,
Just happened. So,
yeah,
but I agree with
yeah,
you
and
there.
yeah. And then Atlanta Falcons pandemic also said they admits that trust we aren't, meaning the Falcons aren't thriving. This isn't what they thought it would end up, far less than expected, and pretty much that's everybody's feeling on this particular little post game show. It wasn't
Yeah.
what it's far less than what we expected. The Sun went through why that's the case, because we didn't think we were going to be winning the Super Bowl this season, but never did
Winning the
we.
Super Bowl, we weren't going to do anything, period. Also, my light
No,
just went out. I don't know why.
right. We just didn't
Oh.
expect for it to be as bad as it was. The disarray with the leadership, that was just really bad.
Yeah.
So, um, it's going to be an interesting off season. We have that to look forward to, unfortunately, or not. I don't know. We'll start seeing what's happening. I don't know how many picks the Giants will have, but as we've all discussed in many, many episodes, they have it's bigger than the quarterback. We still have an offensive line situation. I'm not sure about the defensive team. I'm not sure about that. Uh, what we have there, it did they obviously they did better than the offensive players did, but I'm still not sure.
That's not saying much.
It it's not.
It's
It's
not
not.
saying much.
It's not saying much. It's not saying much. So um, yeah, we're just gonna say happy holidays to everybody, and I'm just glad the Giants don't have to play on Christmas Day. Yeah, December 25th is not something we have to worry about.
Hmm.
That would be really bad,
Yeah.
especially since the son and I spend our holiday amongst Eagles fans. So
They don't need to
that
know
would be
all
really
that. They don't need to know all that.
that
They don't need to know that.
would be tough. But but
So we're
go
done.
ahead, son. We're
We're
done.
we're done. Y'all know what to do. Like and subscribe. Drop a comment. Please share the video. Share it with all your friends. Doesn't matter if they're Eagles fans, Cowboys fans, Falcons fans, Panthers fans. I don't care. Share it with everybody. Let them bask in our misery if that's what they want to do. Let them feel sorry for us. Do whatever it is that y'all feel like you need to do to contribute to our community because we enjoy it. We like the engagement. We like to see you guys comment. We like to see how you guys feel. This is a safe space to vent about your team, especially if it's the New York Giants. We definitely want to know how you feel. It's therapy. So don't forget, we are here next week. I believe that game is on a Sunday. So yeah, Sunday.
Week
We'll
17. Yeah.
we'll be back next week to talk about the Colts versus the Giants, which obviously we're more than likely going to lose. Which now that I think about would be a nice revenge game for the Colts because we beat them like 31 to like 10 last year.
Yeah.
So that would be a nice revenge game for them, and it more than likely would happen. Don't be surprised if we lose by 20 something points again, because it's been happening for the last 8 weeks, whatever it's been.
Yeah.
So let's just uh let's just tough it out, guys. We're almost done with the season. We don't have to suffer anymore. We do 2 more weeks, and then playoffs will be fun. As long as the Eagles aren't there, it'll be more fun than that. So just look out for the rest of the season, I guess. Just
Yeah.
hang in there. We're
Yeah.
almost done. 2 more weeks. That's it.
Last shout out to I'm gonna hopefully I'm saying this right. Cliche One Art wished us a Merry Christmas. Thank you so much. Happy
You as
holidays to
well.
you as well. And also Atlanta Falcons Pandemic said, I love the mother and son idea. Awesome. And I just
Mhm.
thank you so much. And
Thank you.
anybody who's joined us for the first time, again, please subscribe. Keep us going. And tell a friend. Share the link to watch the
Tell
replay, to
friends,
watch the
not just one
recording.
friend.
Right. Well, I was trying to be conservative, but yes, tell friends. Do
We
that.
don't have time to be conservative. Road to 1,000.
It's true. We need to get there. Let's hope you help us do that. And we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
All right, we're done.
Thank God, because I gotta poop.